don't tell the note card company I said this, but if note cards aren't working for you as a method of learning, that's okay. There are other methods that you can try out. Who said that? Oh no, they found me. Ah! Underpaid employees and interns who think this will somehow help them get a job. Attack! Whew. Let me tell you, those guys are way more aggressive than you'd think. I mean, talk about a paper cut. What's that, Jerry? I have a what? Oh, hang on a sec. Whew. Anyways, today I've kind of realized that a lot of people will deem themselves incapable or unintelligent simply because they can't learn a topic or multiple topics. And I kind of have observed that a lot of people who have these problems don't necessarily have a problem with the topic. What the problem is that they're trying to use the same study method that was recommended to them. Now, don't get me wrong, if you use note cards and they work fine for you, then by all means, use note cards. There's nothing wrong with that. But unfortunately, that just won't necessarily work for everybody. I mean, personally, I hate those stupid things. I cannot use them to study for the life of me. But I know plenty of people, some of which are watching this video right now, perhaps, love these things. They love using them. They make them constantly. Sometimes they make them for stuff that they could probably remember, regardless of the fact of whether it's in a note card or not. That's how much they like them. And by all means, again, that is fine. But I've noticed that a lot of people start to beat themselves up because they can't learn this thing through this method. But what you gotta realize is, just because you can't use this one method to accomplish your goal doesn't mean that there are not other methods that will work for you. I mean, take, for instance, what you need to make sure you do is you differentiate the ends and the mean. So, for instance, let's say I wanted to learn all of the chemicals found in the owl body, right? The end game here is to remember all of the chemicals. The means might be put them on note cards, or perhaps I will read them over and over again, or one of the study methods I like to use is simply try to teach it to somebody else. That's one of my favorite ways to memorize things. That's just what really works for me. But that's the means. Ultimately, what matters is that I eventually learn all of the chemicals found in the owl body. Now, hearing myself say that, I realize I should probably give a disclaimer at this point in case any supervillains are watching. No, that does not justify any means for the end, okay? There are moral limits to which means you can use. Thanos, you cannot go killing off half of the universe for the resources. And I mean, seriously, guy, you have the Infinity Gauntlet. Just make more resources, man. Ugh. Anyways, so moral limits aside, which is an entirely different video on its own, ultimately what matters is that you get to the end. You learn what you need to learn. I mean, just go back to one of my older videos where I go over techniques of studying and several that were scientifically proven or at least scientifically supported. But even for just the scientifically proven ones, I made sure to tell you, even though they're scientifically proven, that does not mean they will necessarily work. And no, that's not because the science is false or somebody didn't know what they were doing when they were making that research, but simply because you are built different. Your mind is wired different. I mean, look at my mind, right? That nobody else's mind looks like that, right? It looks like hot glue in there. Nobody else's mind looks like that, and your mind doesn't look like anybody else's either. So, and I have the research down below if you want to check that out. But my point is that you have to accept the fact that one study method might not work for you, and that's okay. Unfortunately, there's only one long and, in some cases, painful solution to this. And that's simply trial and error. You're just going to have to find new study methods and continue to try them until you figure out which ones work and which ones don't. By the way, I suggest starting with that study video I mentioned earlier. I'll leave it down in the description below in case you're curious. But point is, that's really the only way you're going to get by. And you have to accept that not all study methods work for you. Just because one study method used by somebody who's particularly intelligent doesn't work for you doesn't mean you're not intelligent. That means that person's different. And that's fine. But, you know, isn't that the fun of learning and discovering new things about ourselves? So I encourage you, I implore you, go out there, experiment, try new things, rub peanut butter on your face. Is that gonna help? Probably not, but who knows? You might be the one person in the entire world who studies like Albert Einstein when they rub peanut butter on their face. Whew. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed making it. If you have any other ideas for future videos or just want to tell me how great of a job I did, I certainly don't mind that. Make sure to leave it in the comments section below. Otherwise, make sure to hit that bell button and that subscribe button. I post every other week. And until next time, hear nothing and listen to all. Bye, guys.